Hello and welcome to episode one of a new feature, Talk's Power Rankings. I'm joined by Chris.
Evening.
Between like five of us, we voted for our top 10 players. I won't go into how it's sort of pointed, and then we sort of averaged it all together. And then for the last three games, I must include. So the last three games, you can kind of see a form, what's going on. You'll see right now the bottom three players we'll get to in a minute. So basically the bottom three players, they're kind of players in a minute. They've either done really well in a game and then not played or done sort of okay in the others. And then sort of 7 to 4 for like consistent performers. And then the top three are just the absolute stars. And if I'm honest with you, the top three, we've been doing a few weeks just to try it out, and the top three haven't changed much at all. So, and I think a lot of Torquay fans will be able to know what those three players are going to be. Anyway, so I'll let you start with 10th and sort of your thoughts on him. Who you want, Chris?
Yeah, 10th we've gone for Danny Wright. And this is where this idea is difficult, because Danny Wright actually, I think, is one of the most important players in terms of how the team plays and the ability it gives us. And we saw at Yeovil how when we were struggling a bit, the difference Sinclair Armstrong made is a different type of forward. But Danny Wright just gives us a different way of being able to play with a proper centre forward who's big and strong and holds the ball up and wins the ball in the air and brings others into play. So he's always going to be in the top 10 for me, because a proper centre forward in kind of a Tim Sills mould going back a few years. But that 100%. Proper centre forward makes such a difference.
He's I mean, we didn't use him properly at the start of the season. We were literally just pinging 50 balls a season to him. So now we've actually improved as a team. It's nice to actually have him back properly. I'll do Knight Sparks. Obviously, the reason he's a bit lower is because he didn't play. Is it just the Yeovil way? Yeah, it's just the Yeovil way.
Just the last game. Yeah.
But every Torquay fan, Exeter fan, knows his talents. He is brilliant, especially in the Boxing Day one, which is the first of the three that we're counting. He might be back this weekend. People say he's gone back, but other people say, well, if he has a negative COVID test, then it's his last day of his loan. So, but we'll see. I'll let you take number 8, as in Lapsley.
Yeah, 8 for Lapsley again. Didn't play in the last game because he was injured. But I think a lot of these are kind of moulded from the Yeovil home game. Really, it was kind of when no one had a poor game really. But Lapsley's the sort of player who he's had some absolute stinkers. Let's have it right. He's had a couple of absolute rotter games, particularly at home. But he's the sort of kind of terry midfielder, kind of running after people, kicking people. Yeovil fans would have loved to have had him at that place as well. It was such a shame he wasn't fit. But and he's just a sort of player that straight as soon as you saw him, I think every Torquay fan kind of in this league, you need kind of nuggety, determined players who are going to run around and kick people and annoy people and nick the ball, and he's been doing that a lot recently. So I mean, he needs to stay fit. And that's the problem all season.
And that's why he's only 8th at the moment. So come on, Tom, stay fit, and then you'll be higher, which is, I'm sure, is your main career goal. Right. So that's the sort of the three that have. Well, a lot of that is injury, really. To be fair, the reason they're there. So the next one, which is sort of the ones that have done really well or done brilliant for 2. So you're going to pop up your screen now. So I'll take McDonald, because I'm always a McDonald's biggest fan. If I see, he was a lot higher the last few, but he had that second goal against Eastleigh, which is his only real mistake I can think of this season. I don't know about you, he's been absolutely brilliant for me. He's come back, he's improved so much since last year. And then I was bigging up against Yeovil, and then he had a bit of a dodgy moment at Eastleigh. But I've seen worse this season from Torquay keepers. So.
And I was taking Eastleigh was my dad's fault, because we were talking in the car driving to Eastleigh, saying, and my dad said the phrase, he's a much better goalkeeper. He's not made a mistake. So that's in football fan logic. That was his fault.
Yeah, and exactly in the Oval game, actually went, most top keepers make 1 or 2 mistakes a season. He hasn't made one, and then just go up. And apart from that, and Yeovil, he was so strong in the air. I've heard, I wasn't there.
He was intelligent as well towards the end. After we'd gone ahead in injury time, they had a couple of corners. There was one that it was absolutely hammering down, and rather than trying to catch it and having just watched their keeper kind of throw one in, he just tipped it over the bar, because safety first, which takes a bit of intelligence.
His on-game intelligence is. I think both Covell and him learned that a lot last season, the year before. I'll take the lemon. I mean, we can both chip in, but it's so nice to see him finding his form. A few people which have brought up, when Little's out the team, does that mean he is a bit better? Because they do kind of play. I mean, Little's a deeper role, but they do kind of play similar ways. But I mean, that ball against the Oval for the winner is just ridiculous. Who thought that? No, if you see that again, you think about it, he's literally just lobbed it up and he's gone like that. And that's what we expect to see from him.
Yeah, I think he's working. I think again at Eastleigh, he's working in that role in behind right. He's working very hard, which doesn't always mean he's producing necessarily,
exactly.
goal contribution every game. But I mean, again on Yeovil, I thought he worked very hard.
Yeah.
And again, but 2 bits of quality, really good corner that. Sure, a bit of help from the keeper, but yeah, I mean that ball for the winner. I mean, crikey, who's going to have seen that, and who cares if Holborn was a bit offside?
Yeah, exactly. So 5th, I'll let you take that. Good old Winter.
Yeah, Winter. I mean, Winter's been again. He's kind of got better as the team's got better. I think this season. I think he had a couple of kind of dodgy performances earlier in the season, but defensively, he's always very good. Defensively, he's always in position. He's played a couple of different positions, playing as a right back in a 4 and a centre back in a 3. But I still want to see him get forward a bit more. You think, the amount him and Moxie got forward at times in that first half of last season when we were kind of beating everyone. But again, that comes with the quality, but when they had Winfield and the main on that side as well, of course, doesn't it? So that comes out. But he's just a consistent player, isn't he? For over a period of time, several years, he's just consistent every week. Yeah,
exactly. And now 4th. God, this is, if you showed me this like after the FA Cup game, you'd be like, "Are you joking me?" But what a turnaround! I mean, he's just unbelievable at the moment, isn't he?
Dan Martin, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen the last 2 games, so I'm sure you can comment more. But like, I just love watching him. I think he's brilliant. He's good defensively, and he's just an excellent modern day fullback.
And that's it. I think that's the point. I mean, earlier in the season, I still, again, like Winter, he's still got to work on his quality into the box when he gets forward, but it was better at Yeovil. But again, I mean, it's just defensively. I mean, who's got past him and put crosses in the box and caused a problem in the last 6, 8, 10 games? No one is the answer, isn't it? And I mean, he's just got better. And I think he is probably epitomises the season in that he was a young kid, came in, probably had to play too much initially because of injuries and player availability, and kind of it was all a bit much perhaps to start with. It takes a bit of time, but yeah, absolutely, he's just got strong. The last 4-6 games, he's been in the top 5 every game, hasn't he?
I agree. I mean, and that sums up perfectly what you just said there. At the start of the season, it was too many of these players who hadn't played football, and they're all thrown into one team with huge expectations and pressure. And then now that we're starting to, those loans that have sadly gone back, but I'm hoping it will replace. In that time where you've had a bit of less pressure on them, they've sort of kind of like Jory Johnson. I think he could be really good now. Though they're sort of coming up now and they're finding the talent that on paper they had, but they just needed to extract from a few mistakes, a few red cards. And so on to the top 3. So they will now pop up. I mean, every Torquay fan knows what top 3 it's going to be. So it's what order. So 3rd, we've got Dino, Moxie. I mean, Martin coming into the team has really helped Moxie sort of find it. I think he's the best performer and he's been in his Torquay stint, because we all know he's the brilliant professional, but obviously left back he struggled with pace. Now he's over in the centre back. He's just been what I thought he's outstanding. He's ridiculous.
He has been, and it's interesting. I work with quite a lot of Exeter fans, and when we signed him, they were kind of like, there were some Exeter fans who would have kept him, who I work with, and so when they're like, crikey, you've done really well to get him. I mean, he was good last year, struggled with fitness on and off, didn't he? Which didn't help with this season. Ironically, he limped off, didn't he, on Sunday? So who knows for this weekend? But he's just been really consistent, and interestingly as well. When again talking to people, they were like, "Oh, I'm not sure if I fancy him as a centre back in a 4, because he played on as a 3 for them." But I mean, he's just been outstanding again at Eastleigh, and again on one leg in the second half, they didn't give him any problems, did they? So he's just been that bit of experience at the back to bring Lewis along and talk to Martin.
He just has the bug for it still. He's not just a professional, just using his reputation to get a few more years out of a career.
Absolutely,
literally every game he's
still good enough.
And he is. Absolutely. Now seconds, this is probably, I mean, it's so difficult to choose because the last 3, I don't know about you, but I've gone like Little, Lewis, Little, and stuff like that. Lewis, I reckon Little second, many just because he missed obviously the Oval game, which is why he's second. But we can I feel we're going to have this every week. Whoever joins me to speak about this, talking about Little and Lewis, we can literally do it together. Like unbelievable players. I mean, ironically, that kind of nonsense with where he got booed and everything is probably perhaps the best thing that could have happened this season in a lot of ways, because he's just, but since then he's almost had a I'll show you kind of mentality. But I mean, he's now dominating games, he's controlling midfield, he's played a bit deeper, he's played a bit further forward, but I mean ultimately he's a central midfield player that's scored 10 goals in 19 appearances. It's ridiculous. And all the assists. I mean, I think as you say, the boo for me, it's like, I think a lot like myself, for example, we came out of the woodwork a lot more to sort of be, no, you're one of our best players. Don't listen to those idiots. I remember when he did it straight away, I even tweeted a player because, I don't know, it just kind of was like, look, other people need to say that you are really respected by a lot of Torquay fans with a bit of brains in that. I mean,
and I think that game kind of, sorry, Sam, kind of encapsulates that squad, particularly at that time, because actually, when I did the verdict for Torquaytalk that game, and actually he was man of the match, because actually that game was absolute dross. But one player with 2 bits of quality won the game, and that kind of tells you
how many players spoon that over the bar as well. His chance.
Oh, absolutely, pressure. That volley, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I think with Little, a lot of it's before we signed and got better as a team. He's been making balls and runs that no one else has made. Then it looks like, oh, you're just losing possession. But for all we need is better players around him. He will shine, and that's what he has. And Lewis. Just unbelievable defender. Howie, I know he's sadly, I reckon he'll move on to the Football League at the end of the season, but Howie is our player. I still will never know. Like when we signed him, and he has improved a lot since then.
Oh, he has. I just like to say at this point that when we did our pre-season predictions, I did have him as player of the season when I did that. So I spotted this early, but no, I mean, he was good. I think he's just got more consistent. When we had him on loan the first time, he was a bit erratic, but then again, 19, 20-year-old on loan, you get that. But he's just so consistent. I think what's impressed me is that he's over the last kind of 10 games, he'll just have a fight with anybody. In terms of the centre forwards, he's been up against Yusuf, against Yeovil twice, Tyrone Barnett. These are big, strong people, and nobody has had a penny out of him.
No, he can go up. He can go up to Championship, in my opinion, if he carries on growing like he does. Like he's that standard.
He was there, wasn't he?
He was there. He was a youth team captain as well. I just know if he's got the physicality, he's got the brain. He's played so much football now at a good standard.
Yeah.
Or he's got it all coming. Just give us another few years, Joe. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I mean, and again, if you were in a League Two, if you're a League Two club or even a League One club, who needs a centre back, and you've got a bit of money to spend, then I mean, I would think certainly League Two, he can make that move.
Oh yeah, straight away. Yeah, definitely. And there's not actually that big a difference in League Two and Conference now, so I reckon he's League One. But
I think as well from a fan's perspective as well, there's a lot about him you like as a fan. He's passionate.
He's so passionate.
That day that we shall not mention in the playoff final this middle of last year when he was good, but then at full time he was the first one who came over and was clapping the fans amid all the chaos going on the pitch and all their fans, all that stuff. He still had the kind of the class and the kind of the love for the club to say, okay, this hasn't gone our way, but we'll try again. And he's just made a massive difference, hasn't he?
Yeah, so that draws an end. I mean, we've never done it before. So it draws an end of our power rankings. Thanks for joining me, Chris. That's brilliant.
Pleasure.
So I think we're going to do this either weekly or maybe every 2 or 3 weeks. We'll see how it goes. And I hope you've enjoyed. Let us know your opinions and all that if you want. If not, cheers. And then, thanks for watching.